All right. Hello and welcome back to Soulframe Scholar. I'm Brozime, and today we're going to be talking about farming Dermak, and more specifically talking about farming the Avakot Dermak, which is a unique location. For that, we're going to talk about the items that you're going to be able to farm here first. So with that, it is mostly going to be two armor sets. This is the full set of the Fenjitar set, which includes the Great Helm of Mora. The chest piece is the Blazon Placard, and then the pants are the Flamekin Kilt. This full set comes from the rare chests that are just scattered throughout Dermak for doing puzzles or just like different various points of reward. In addition to that, the thing that we're going to be talking about mainly farming is the Blacksmith set, which includes the Prentice's Circlet, Stithywicks, and the pants, which are the Pabby's Shreds. Now, it's worth noting that the Helm, the Prentice Circlet, and Pabby's Shreds can be gotten from a lot of different locations. Rare crates both inside Dermak and in the overworld drop both of these pieces, so they're pretty easy to acquire. Stithywicks, on the other hand, this chest piece, exclusively and only comes from the Avocott quest. In addition to that, Vetch can drop from the Avocott quest, though I've only seen it happen rarely. I've also heard that Bog and Myrtle can drop here, but I have not confirmed that for myself. And also, I do know that Bog and Myrtle is generally going to be a faction tales that end in Dermak reward, which is not something that we're going to be initiating here, and is hard to force. So I was just doing faction tales normally for Bog and Myrtle if that is what you were looking to get. Anyway, though, for what we're going to be running here, I am actually going to be running Vetch just to show it off, as it is a good sword. If you do get it, it is very worthwhile to use. And I'm going to be using that alongside Oselda. Oselda being one of the starter classes. This is the setup for it in terms of its skills. And then in terms of the point spread, I'm just on a pretty even point spread here. Just 20-20 and then 23 encourage. A little extra pump up for Vetch to scale off of. And just a little bit extra damage on B-Stone for us. He's just a little bit more useful. But this is what I'm going to be running through here with. This is generally a pretty fast setup. I'll note that if you have Orangol, Orangol's wolf form can make farming one specific variant of this much quicker, because you can get to the objective much faster. So if you want to go Orangol, that's also a fantastic choice. And you're usually going to be, using weapons similar to Vetch. Something Courage scaling, perhaps Oran and Umber is also a good choice if you are going to be on that, as Courage scaling weapons are better on Orangol. With that, though, where are we going? If you don't know where we're going, then it's going to be hard to get there. So I'm standing just south of Salzbrim, which is this nice coastal town here that you've probably seen quite a number of times doing the random quests in the overworld. To our east, we have Curlisle and the big fort, which if we look over there, you can't really see them from here. But this is the far west middle of the total map. This is like the more populous, more finished zone than the outreaches that we recently got access to. But this is where we are. Right here, this is the College of Pensives. That's the tower where you do the tutorial quest to get your scribe in your Nighthold. And then right up here is where we're headed. This is Hillyden. So Hillyden is underground. There is an entrance above that you can drop down into, and then there is also this entrance on the side of the hill. We're going to be going into the side of the hill. For those of you that started with Oselda, you'll probably be familiar with this location already, as this is where Alka's Children is located, sort of. Alka's Children is right there embedded in that wall if you want to get to the entrance of that. Your Sparrow should have already led you here before, though. And then if we just jump up here, although you can head around as well, this is the entrance to Hillyden. Now, we are going to be talking first and foremost about methods to farm the Avocott stuff, as that's the much more difficult piece of this. And thankfully, Avocott is going to spawn 100% of the time in the first room that we load into. Please note that if he doesn't load in for you, you should just leave and come back in. He's not going to spawn further into the level. That's just not something that he does at current. He will always be right away whenever you run in. Now, Avocott can give us one of two different objectives, and hopefully he gives us this objective first. This is the Few from the Patch objective. We basically need to find 3 other Avocotts and dig them up, and then that will give us our reward. Now, this is the much slower of the 2 objectives. The other objective is a guided objective that just has you kill a banneret that spawns down here and take something from him, and it is the much faster one. We're going to do this objective just to show how it works so that you know what to do, and we're going to talk about Dermak a little bit more, so you can maybe hopefully find some more chests and just have some better knowings of how things work around here. But if you're specifically farming the Avocott quest because you just want Stithywicks, Usually, it's faster to just walk out and walk back in until he gives you the banneret version of this quest, which is, he'll always say the talkie ode thing whenever he's setting up for that quest, if you're looking for a little key to that. In this case, though, we need to find the 3 other Avocots. So for this, our Sparrow will not guide us anywhere. This is just a pure exploration objective. If you do need items from Dermak, if you just need, like, you know, any resources that drop here, or if you need pieces of the other armor set that is not this one, then it's actually a good objective for you to have, because it encourages you to run around and explore the level. In general, if you are running through any given dungeon, the thing that you want to do is run all of the directions that are not progression first. And that is because you are looking for these chests. So these chests are going to contain resources from the dungeon and just a bunch of resources in general. Some of them are actually, you'll get much more of them out of rare chests than basically anywhere else. But this can also contain armor pieces for us if you're looking for that set. In this case, it's just like some Drox and some Whisprig and some scrap brass and a few other things. But that's where you're going to be getting some of your armor pieces as well. So whenever you're running through these, it is definitely advised to not head what would be the correct direction first. And like in a room like this, there's usually a chest on the side if there's going to be one. If you need to grab weapon racks for scrap metals is usually going to be required for a lot of different weapon builds, and is suggested to grab them as you see them, especially as a newer player. Running up into this room. So this room, very notably, is usually the room that the banneret is going to spawn in, but of course we'll see that whenever I show that later in the video, because I'm going to make sure that I show that off. And it's notable that, like, you don't have to fight enemies while you're looking for this, but I am going to take down some enemies so I can talk about different, like, things that are mechanically different here. So, on my hip, you can see I have this little rattler that glows green and makes a noise. This is my detection for finding the other Avocots. It'll just get louder and faster as you get closer and as you head in the right direction to get closer. In general, this room actually normally has, like, sometimes even 2 of them. There's usually at least 1 here. And you can check a few spots for them. This patch over here sometimes has one, but also, like, down here in this little area, there is often one as well. At the very least, it's getting more intense as I go this direction, so there should be one over on this way. It is, of course, much harder to hear whenever you're fighting enemies, so that's one of the reasons it's suggested to take everybody out if you are especially newer to finding this. And there's one of our Avocots. That is our rutabaga. It's worth noting that these can be like false flags, and you can, like, find nothing, but that happens pretty rarely. Usually, if that's going to be the case, it'll be right next to where one of them is anyway. Taking out a bunch of these enemies. You do want to, like, make sure and check your map and see if you're, like, missing side paths and stuff, because you usually will be. Also, a notable thing for exploring this, as of current patch, on every new patch, you got to see if gravity works, but you can drop down and melee in the air to cancel your fall damage. Down here in this room, there is often rare chests, and also we also found our Tacho down here. So if you get this really tall room, very often, not only are there rare chests down here, it's also where one of the Avocots is hiding if you do happen to be doing this objective. There's Apprentice's Circlet out of the chest. As we mentioned before, that's actually the helm that I'm currently wearing. And in here, there can also be a rare chest to go with all of the other drops that we just grabbed out of those crates. Breaking boxes and such, also good way to get Drox and a few other materials, patch leather and the like. So make sure and be doing that, especially if you are newer on in and are much lower on those different materials. But now that we have grabbed our Tacho, we're going to head over here, and up here is another exit to this room, so we'll want to see if that is the right way. I will say, normally when doing this objective, part of the reason it takes longer is just because this objective is actually much faster in a group. Shocker, I know. So this is the end room. Now, the end room is really important, as for farming any given dungeon, you basically never want to exit through this. So for this, you can just grab the end room chest, which is, like, always here. There's a Great Helm of Mora for us. As you can see, I have quite a number of them. But we just want to head straight back, because number one, we didn't finish our Avocott quest, and it will totally cancel out, and you'll get no credit if you find 2 of them and then just leave. You'll get nothing for your Avocott quest, so don't do that. But now we can just backtrack back the way we came. So up here, we can see that that doesn't go anywhere, though there is a little cave to the right there that can be a rare chest. I don't personally need any of the materials that spawn in this dungeon anymore, but that is where one can be. And then down in here, we can head off to the other side, because we came in, I believe, over on the left there. You can check our map always for that. No, we came in on this side, so we were going to head left from here. We can see our shaker is like detecting our last plant friend. And there we go. Now we have Ginzi. Oh, you can see here, as a good example, I was actually wondering if we were going to get any of these. This is just a regular chest. There are things that can be in a regular chest. They're still worth opening. They usually have Drox and such. But it's not, like, a vital to the continuation here. Backrooms and such can also be a variety of things. We did not get any puzzle rooms, really, here. Because it's notable that there are puzzles that can spawn here. I'll make sure and show at least one of those, though I might have to cut to it, as they sometimes just don't spawn, especially actually in this one. I would say that they're more common in other Dermaks. This Dermak is generally actually a little more on the simple side. But because we are now done with our Avocott quest, you saw that we did not get any pieces for it. It is not even a guaranteed drop. Again, Stithywicks is very rare. But we can just use that portal to head back to the front here. Those portals, notably, are usually in the much larger rooms. Usually the really big rooms will pretty much always have one of those. And one of the reasons it's much better to do the banneret is that the banneret is almost always in that specific room, and you can just portal right back, making everything about this much, much quicker. Now, we could get lucky, and I could walk back in there, and he'll give me the banneret quest, which is what I would like to have happen. It's what we'd all like to have happen, honestly. But I might have to reset for it. Resetting is easy. Just walk out, walk back in, walk out, walk back in. That's all there is to it. There's also usually the weapon rack out there, so you can farm a little bit of those materials while you're at it. But this is going to be a bit PC dependent. Obviously, loading out and like going back and forth and doing that, it's going to be, you know, as fast as your computer can load stuff up. But yeah, this is missing a few from the patch, so I will have to reset that stuff. I would say that if your load times are pretty slow, you should just do the objectives. Getting the exploration and materials in is worthwhile enough, especially if you still need them. But yeah, in this case, we'll just reset. I'm just going to reset this until I get the other objective style so that you can see it. Now I'm back in. Talkie Ode thing. There we go. We got Talkie Ode thing. Here we are. So this is the other objective that he can give you. He'll always say Talkie Ode thing. And that means that you have the faster of the two objectives by quite a margin. Once you have clicked the top objective there, you've accepted it, so you can actually just hit escape to kind of like back out of this as fast as possible. This objective is faster not only because it's literally less stuff to do, but also because your bird will lead you straight to where you need to go. So whenever you're doing this, you can just head right on to where you need to be. Your bird will just know where this objective is. You don't need to do any side rooms or anything, especially helpful if you are already done with farming everything else that is in the Dermak zone. You can see here we're in the same room that we were in before, and our banneret is here. For killing the banneret, I would say probably it kind of depends on what's faster. Personally, Oselda is a pretty solid one, mostly because you can just use the birds, and that'll usually take care of it. Oh, Lock-On does not want to cooperate. There we are. Take the finisher here. Kill him, and then just make sure I pick up his drop. And then that will roll our objective reward. We got 250 Drox down there, and then just like a few other things. No equipment drop, unfortunately. But that is the drop that will be the thing that can be Stithywicks, if that is what you were looking for. I will say, anecdotally, I got most of my Stithywicks drops from finding the sprouts. So there is that. I don't think there's actually a drop difference. But for me, that's where they mostly came from. You can see how much faster it is just to like get that room and then just portal back and immediately run back out. Now I'm gonna just do some cuts here to show off different puzzle elements so that you can see some things that can appear here, so you know how to get the different rare crates and such. But if you're just farming for Stithywicks, you now kind of have the full rod of information. There's a few things that are important to show off in this room. So one is this. This door tells you to hit F on it, hit E on it. You can kick it open. There can often be some like rare chests and stuff in here. There's a variety of doors like this that can be kicked open. If it can be interacted with, usually you can kick it open. Also, of course, breakables, blocking doorways. You can break those, go inside. There can often be chests in here, even if they're just common ones. And then one more thing. Often rooms like this, you can see this big pulley system here with this. These are usually a hidden lever of some description. There can also be some that come up out of the ground, but usually if you see anything that looks really suspicious like this, there's a lever hidden somewhere nearby. And then this is a fun one because there is this chest here, Great Helm of Mora, and there's also almost always this chest right here. So it's a nice 2 rare chest room for us, which can both have like all of like the same different kinds of rewards. We also got a Medallion of Mora here, which is the material for getting into the Kith of Kings. And this also goes deeper back in here. And I think this is a room exit. There's one more rare chest, maybe? Or maybe it's a possible rare chest spawn. You can break this and then open this from this side, though. There might be one more possible chest here. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, so that's a 3 rare chest just for, like, getting into that door, if you are looking for any of those things. Yeah, just good to know that, like, levers are one of the potential, like, room puzzle elements that you can run into. Okay, so here we also actually missed this initially. We actually have another mirror puzzle as well. So mirror puzzle is usually just tossing or shooting your weapon at mirrors that reflect a light and then following them to their given destination. There's a little variation within these, but generally speaking, that's usually what you're up to. So in this case, you gotta like break boxes and get clear up the light's path and everything, and light up this sprite, and then this will open up a grove room, which has 2 rare chests for us. There's a flamekin kilt for us, and then just a bunch of materials in that one. But yeah, that is another one of the types of mechanics. I think we have just one more to show off. Here's one of our puzzle elements. So here is just one of the fire elements. So these are always put out by barrels. So in this case, there's a barrel being suspended over here. There's also some locations where they can be like suspended up in walls blocked by boards. So if you can't get past anything, usually the thing you can't get past is going to be fire or water. You can use that to put it out, and that will usually let you proceed right away. The fire can also be in multiple different spots. So, for example, here's actually another different one. This is a grappling interaction. So these, if you stand by them and throw your weapon, which is normally going to be at carts and other things that are glowing, it'll pull on whatever you throw it at. So in this case, it pulls the water barrel over here, it blows this up, and then gets rid of the fire. So if you're progressing through areas blocked by fire, that's usually going to be the solutions to the problems. Here's another one, actually. There's like all 3 of them actually here. These ones just drop down. That one puts out the fire here. This room has been phenomenal for showing a bunch of the fire interactions. Actually, also, there's the other interaction. There's actually 2 ways to solve this one. This is the wall one, where the barrels will just like flop out and put out fire in this area. So yeah, that's really one area for every single one of the different fire interactions. And also a fake sprout. Good bobber. Yeah, there's Avocott. And then just in case I did not mention it, this room, pressure plates, hidden pressure plates in rooms. This one specifically is like always here. This raises up. Up this side. There's usually at least 2 chests here. Sometimes there's more. Oh, only 1. Well, unlucky, but hey, luckily for me, I already have all this stuff. But for you, hopefully you'll be a bit luckier than me. Hey, just wanted to note here, I've been unable to produce the last of the mechanics, which is thankfully very similar to the one that you just saw, which is the fire mechanics, where you just like throw your weapon with the hook. There is a water version of that mechanic that works like exactly the same way. There's a few different places where like the hook and throwing it into another rope thing are, and they're variations on the way that we used it with the fire. There's a lot of different Dermak tiles, so unfortunately can't see them all the time. But yeah, that should do it for the video. Hopefully this has been helpful to you for farming Dermak, and specifically farming out Avocott, and hopefully getting your hands on Stithywicks. if that has been eluding you. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I'm planning on doing one of these for the Glades as well, showing the different like kinds of puzzles that you can get there. There's nothing like Avocott for the Glades as of yet, but of course it is very desirable because there is quite a few weapons and armors that come from the Glades. So I'll see you in that video, hopefully. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. Let me know if I missed anything big in the comments. Obviously, besides, I couldn't find a water puzzle to show that's similar to the fire ones, but you know. And that's going to do it for the video. And I'll see you tomorrow.